Indian No More. The author's note. Dear reader, although Regina is a fictional character in a historical novel, federal termination laws were real. They had a detrimental impact on many a Native American children and families in Native nations from coast to coast from the 1940s through the 1960s. These tribes found their government-to-government relationship with the United States severed when Congress passed those laws. Like Regina, I lived for a while on the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Reservation. However, I was 1 year old when my Umpqua tribe was terminated. I don't remember much about that time, only that what family and tribal members passed down to me. One tribal member said it best. There was no Chinagwawa word for termination except for Mimulust, that means to die in my Native American language. For many, this loss of identity was exactly how they felt. They had become the walking dead. Along with termination, Congress passed the Indian Relocation Act in 1956. This removed many more Native people from their reservation homelands and relocated them to big cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, Denver, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. The government promised moving costs, jobs, higher education, and housing. Tens of thousands of Native people entered urban cities across the U.S. My family opted for Los Angeles. Below is a photo of my sister and me in our new home on 58th Place when we were younger than Regina and Pee Wee. While living in Los Angeles, my sister and I did have friends upon whom I based the characters of Keith and Addie in the book. I have many photos of us posing for the camera, whether we were in our Halloween costumes or just playing around. Philip and Anthony are based on real brothers from Cuba who entertained the neighborhood kids with their circuses, magic shows, and marionette theater. The memories of my time on 58th Place are mostly pleasant. Later, in 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson addressed Congress with his Forgotten Americans speech, requested their help in funding education, employment, and health care programs, and instructed federal agencies to build better relationships with Indian tribes. Terminated tribes began meeting with congressional members about restoring their trust relationship. The Menominee tribe in Wisconsin was the first tribe to have its status restored when in 1973 Congress passed a bill when then-President Richard Nixon signed into law. This led to more tribes meeting with and testifying before Congress about how the termination law had devastated their governments, economies, and the lives of their citizens. On November 22, 1983, after nearly 30 years of termination, President Reagan signed House Resolution 3885, also known as Public Law 98-365. That law restored the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde community as a federally recognized tribe. After that, Regina Petit and I became Indian once more. Signed, Charlene Willing McManus, 1953 to 2018.